I recently read an article by environmentalist Flannery about children and climate change. It was a good piece, like pretty well everything he writes. Well thought through, clearly written. But there was a deep sadness in the piece that got under my skin and kept nagging at me until I realised that I simply have to say something. Hello, I'm John Heffernan. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Professor Flannery's article opens with these words: "We need to talk to our kids about the climate crisis, but courage fails me when I look at my son." And then he adds, "As the news darkens, I'm having trouble talking to young people about the climate crisis." Now, this is a guy who has talked and written about the climate crisis for decades. He's fully steeped in the subject and totally aware of the terrifying possibilities awaiting us if we keep burying our heads in the sand. So, I find it really disturbing that such an expert on global warming actually has trouble talking to young people about what is arguably humanity's biggest existential threat. In fact, it worries me so much that as an author of almost 60 books for young people, I want to send 3 points of encouragement to Tim Flannery and to other climate crisis experts like him. First, you people matter. You are tackling this massive issue from an evidence-based perspective, which is really the only viable perspective to tackle it from. You're not driven by faith, unfounded belief, ideology or myths, but by the evidence, the facts. We need you. The world needs you and that sort of approach. And the ones who need you most are the young, the kids. Let's face it, they are the ones who will be at the coalface. They need to be prepared. They deserve to be prepared. We owe it to them. And it is only through people like you that kids can be given the means for sorting out what they think and how they can deal with something as massive as this. That is why you simply must talk to them. In fact, I don't think you have any choice. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand that you'd be troubled by talking to young people about the climate crisis. It is an immensely disturbing issue. But I honestly think you should be more troubled by not talking to them, not preparing them for the crisis. Ignorance will certainly be of no use to them. Not knowing will be worse than anything. Knowledge and an evidence-based approach to tackling this crisis is really the only viable way. But my third point is what I want to emphasize most, namely that the young are up to the task. They can be relied upon to rise to the occasion. Far from being delicate creatures who need to be sheltered from big issues of all kinds, kids of quite young ages are remarkably capable of dealing with deep, complex and even disturbing issues. I say this as an author who has focused particularly on writing books for that 10 to 15 year age bracket. Books dealing with some of life's really big issues. Of course, I've written my share of little fun books for little kids. But the books that really matter to me are a number that deal with some big issues. Issues such as war, refugees, ethnic cleansing, domestic violence, family breakdown, suicide, depression, alcoholism, cruelty to animals, natural disasters like bushfires, earthquakes, tsunamis. Not only have I written for this group though, but I have spent years talking to them at literary festivals and school visits right across Australia and even overseas, as well as answering many thousands of emails about these books and the issues they've brought up. and I have always been impressed by the maturity of their engagement in what can be very challenging issues. So Tim, Professor Flannery, rather than being troubled in talking to young people about the climate crisis, I would encourage you to come right out and tell it as it is, up front, undaunted. Your young audience will go with you, and they will benefit from your every word. And the world, the future, will benefit from the gift you give them: informed engagement. Yeehaw.